In this video, I'm going to show how to set up a new project and solution from scratch that will work with A20. Once again, I'm using Visual Studio 2022. You need the game development with Unity and the .NET desktop development package installed. Without this, you won't be able to create the right project. And this will help us with debugging in the future, which I will show you in another video. Let's get started. Under the 7 Days to Die, I've got a mods folder. It's all clean. So I'm going to start up Visual Studio 2022 under Create New Project. You're going to see a lot of projects here, and it's really important to get the right one. I have class library.NET framework here. You may not have this when you first load up into this screen. So you want to look into this list and make sure that it is class library.NET framework. There's a class library here. That is not the right one. The Forms app, not the right one. Keep scrolling down until you see the class library.NET framework. Select that and do next. Now for the project name, this is the name of your modlet, my first modlet. And we're just going to put everything right under the mods folder. The solution name is kind of your overall package. This can match your project name. It doesn't need to. If you're going to be creating multiple modlets under a different solution, then you could say my mods .NET Framework 4.8. So we'll go create, and now it's going to load up Visual Studio. Now we're going to close this for a minute and do one quick change. You can see under the mods, it created a My Mods folder. That's the name of your solution. Then as your solution file and your project file here. We are actually going to cut that and paste it into the top. And then we'll just delete this empty folder. So the goal is to have your solution file right underneath your mods folder, and your modlet will be right here. And once that's done, we can load it back up. Remember that Visual Studio has light mode and dark mode. You can go to Tools and Theme, and you can change it between light and dark mode, whatever's more comfortable to you. Over here is your project. So let's adjust a few things. Let's go to Properties. The assembly name is the reference you put in the XML. If you watch the sample project tutorial, I go over what the assembly name is. You can have spaces in here. I don't really care for spaces. I find that they can cause some problems in some corner cases. I'm just going to call it my mod for now, and we'll just Control S to save. Now under Build, you'll see the output. By default, it will go under bin debug, which means it will go under bin and debug here. The game won't actually look for the DLLs any place other than the top level. So what we're going to do is we're just going to change that so it's /. Control S to save again. And this means that the DLL will be saved here. So if we go to Build Solution, and there it is. That's the right place for it. Under Advanced Debugging Information, I would recommend putting on our Portable. When I go through the score tutorial, I will show you how to do debugging and where this will be important. Everything else can stay the same. If you would like, you can go down to your debug and go to browse and select 7days to .exe here. The working folder is here. What this will do is when you hit the start button, it's going to start the game automatically. You don't need to do that, but I find that it's pretty handy. If you're doing some code, you can do a build and you can start it all right in here. For the class here, this is just the sample class that it does. I normally delete that because I don't use it. So we need our init. So if you go into right click on your project, you can go to add, and you want to add new item. So if you do not have the .NET framework installed, then you won't see all of these here. At the beginning of the video, I showed what needed to be installed, and what it does, it gives these. So let's go down here to XML file. We will create the mod info. Let's just clear that. What I'm going to be doing for this tutorial is there is a modlet. It's the POI Lite enabler. It hasn't been ported to A20 yet, so I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So let's open up the mod info. This was made by Innocuous Chaos. I am not going to change any of the credits or anything like that. So I am just going to copy and paste that in here for the mod. Now let's see what else we need to do. He has a Harmony folder, and there's a couple of scripts. So right click, add, we can add a new folder. As in a previous video, we do not need to create folders for our scripts, but for organization purposes, I like to keep them separate. So after the folder, right click on the folder, add item, and we'll do a class this time. Let's call it the init class, because every DLL needs one of these files. We don't need any of the templates that it does. Let's take a look at what the init does for this. I do not want you, Visual Studio 2017. Let's open up Notepad. Well, let's copy and paste that in here. Okay, so red squigglies. That is because this mod is for DMT, and we don't have our references set up. Under the references, this is the DLLs that you can reference. Let's right click and we'll add a reference. Go down to browse. Then from into your 7 days to die data manage folder, this is where all the DLLs are. You normally want to include the Harmony one. You can hold down Control and click on the assembly C# as well. And there's a couple more that we use quite a bit, and that would be the Unity Core, Unity Engine, and I believe that's all we need. So let's just add those. You'll see the 4 check marks here, and then OK. So some of the squigglies have gone away. But you want to do one extra step here. For all the DLLs and references you add, you want to go down here and do copy local to false. When you build by Visual Studio with this copy local to true, it will copy those DLLs into the modlet folder. That's not something you want. So always set that to false. You can multi-select as well here by holding down the shift and copy local. If it's blank, that just means there's a mix, and change that to false. And they're good. We do not use DMT anymore, So iHarmony, that isn't correct anymore. We use iMod API now. So it does not implement the interface. Let's take a look at the Harmony Admit from the sample project. Let's open it up in our notepad. So what it's saying is we need this function here. So I'm going to copy and paste this and replace the start. And so log does not exist. That means we're missing a reference. So show potential fixes, not super helpful, but we know that log is the logger. So let's add the reference, go to browse, and the log library. Add that, click on OK, change this to false, and the error went away. All this line does is it will just print in the debug log saying, hey, I'm initialized. We had to do that with DMT because it kind of did it silently on us, so we wanted to make sure that it was going. We don't actually need to do this because the game itself will tell you that it's loaded. So that's the init. That will run if we do build solution. It compiles. What other files are in the POI light enabler? So we have the block light. Now, if you're porting a mod, you don't have to do what I did, which is create a new file and copy and paste the contents. You can actually just drag your file in. So we look. This is a Harmony patch. It's using a target method, which means it's going to run this code against all three of these methods. Same thing. All it's doing is changing isEditor to be true, and that will allow you to enable the patch for all those methods. In this particular case, we don't need to make any changes. Let's build. There we go. And let's hit the start. Let's take a look at the log file. And here it is right here. Again, vs load from folder. Doesn't find mod info. It's not reading. It's not writing anything from there. So you're good to go. Loading from your folder, first modlet, found the API, loaded the mod. It's done. If you look at what did we do here for the init loading patch? Let's see if we can find that in the log. Find in current. There we go, right under here. And that's when you know it is initialized. Let's exit the game. Reload, sure, why not? Take a look under properties again. If you need to change your .NET framework, you can do it in here. You probably, if you set it up with 4.8, you probably won't have to change it again. It's unlikely to change. If you're referencing external libraries, you may have to change the .NET framework slightly for it to work. But anything between 4.5 and 4.8 should work with the game. That's your project. Let's go under visuals or into the folder structure again. We'll go over that. We redirected the output for the bin, so we don't actually need that bin folder anymore. OBJ is where the game will do temporary files and all that, and properties of some specific things. Just for the Visual Studio, it's not important. If you were to ship this modlet and you didn't want to release the source code, all you need to do is keep these. You actually don't even need the harmony. You could just do these. That's all you need. Like I said, this is the debug, so if there is a crash in your code, it will show you the line of code for it. The rest is just Visual Studio Project. It doesn't hurt to leave these in here, and it's probably recommended to leave it in here just in case someone wants to be able to rebuild the software. If there was a bug, you're not around to fix it, someone can fix it for you. If you need to create a new project, add new project. Again, class library .NET framework, that's really important. And we'll do my second modlet, and we will create. Again, with the references, you will need to do all those steps again if you add in the references for the assembly C#. Make sure that the copy local is set to false. Under Visual Studio, there it is. And then you can make changes as you go. That is basically all that we need to go through to get you started under that. These aren't meant to be a programming tutorial, but rather just a tutorial to show you how to get started with a fresh solution. My other tutorials will be for the sample project itself, and of course my main mod showing you how to use that, how it's structured, how to run, and how to debug. So I hope this helps.